Just like there's a long list of liberal celebrities who swear they'll go if a Republican is elected, and no one ever does. Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan. In 2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.
There's a common joke in America that never seems to fade. Each election season, famous stars step forward and claim they'll leave the country if a Republican wins. Yet, shockingly, they never really leave. Not once. Not a single one of these bold promises has turned into a packed bag and a flight abroad. Take Miley Cyrus, for example. Back in 2016, she swore that if Donald Trump became president, she was finished. Moving overseas. She even said, "I don't say things I don't mean." Well, fast forward to today, and where do we see her? Sitting front row at the Grammys in Los Angeles, not exactly hiding in Tajikistan. Honestly, if that's her idea of exile, I wouldn't mind trying it. And Miley isn't the only one. Eddie Griffin said he was heading to Africa if Trump won. Guess what? 4 years passed, and the man barely made it out of Van Nuys. George Lopez once joked that if Trump won, he wouldn't have to worry about deportation. He'd just leave. Spoiler, George is still here, still working, still cashing checks. It's always the same show. Big words, headlines, cheers from their fans, then silence. Not a single moving van in view. Now let's stop here. Do you see the irony? These are the same people who constantly preach about morals, fairness, justice, and what's broken in America. They insist this country is a hopeless place. But when the time comes, they stay put. Because deep down, they know what everyone knows. For all its problems, there's no better home.
That America isn't worth defending. Maybe the problem is that lots of people today are entitled whiners who have no perspective and no idea how good they have it. 59% of self-identified liberals say there have been times when they considered leaving America for good, like after NBC canceled The West.
And that's exactly the point Bill Maher drove home in his latest roast of woke celebrities. And trust me, it was harsh but funny. Maher didn't just laugh at the double standards. He tore them apart. He exposed this lineup of pampered stars who act like leaving the US would be some brave act of protest, when in truth, it's just drama. Nothing more than fake showmanship for online attention. Think about it. They say they're leaving because they can't survive in Trump's America. But really, where do they plan on going, Russia? A place where you can actually land in jail for calling the Ukraine war a war?
Russia just referring to the war in Ukraine as a war can get you 15 years in the fabulous prisons made famous by some of the world's most famous novels. You think America's evil because we didn't nominate Margot Robbie for an Oscar? Just wait till you get thrown out the window of your very own dream house.
And this is where Maher's point goes even further. It's not only about celebrities. Everyday people are now posting on TikTok saying things like, "The new American dream is to leave." Really? You've got kids online bragging, "I escaped America." Escaped from what? The Starbucks line, the free internet, the chance to slam your own government on social media without vanishing into a prison camp. That's when Maher nailed it perfectly. The wall we argue about in America isn't built to trap you inside. Nobody's keeping you prisoner. If you don't like it here, there are 195 other countries open for you.
Uganda? Oh, they don't just give you a ticket for parking in the rear. You can get the death penalty for it. In China, they have the death penalty for almost 50 crimes. And in 13 countries, atheism is punishable by death.
And this is where Maher's point goes even further. It's not only about celebrities. Everyday people are now posting on TikTok saying things like, "The new American dream is to leave." Really? You've got kids online bragging, "I escaped America." Escaped from what? The Starbucks line, the free internet, the chance to slam your own government on social media without vanishing into a prison camp. That's when Maher nailed it perfectly. The wall we argue about in America isn't built to trap you inside. Nobody's keeping you prisoner. If you don't like it here, there are 195 other countries open for you.
There's all the TikToks telling Americans things like,
I think the new American dream is to leave.
I'm 18 years old and I escaped America.
yeah. Yeah, you don't have to escape America. That wall we're always debating isn't to keep you in.
But let's be honest. If America is truly so terrible, why is everyone else trying to get in, not out? And that's the question no one seems ready to answer. If this nation is really the nightmare TikTok voices and woke stars claim, why do millions of migrants risk everything just to step on U.S. ground? Why do people sail across seas, crawl under fences, and wait years in lines for a shot at citizenship? You don't see crowds sneaking into North Korea or Venezuela. You don't see them rushing to Saudi Arabia, where women can't even pick their own clothes. But you do see caravans of families desperate to reach the so-called awful United States. That fact alone should end the debate. Here's what Maher truly revealed. The issue isn't America, the issue is entitlement. Many today are so blinded by privilege that they've lost all perspective. They live better than 90% of the globe, yet still complain as if they're trapped in some dark prison.
Scarf. According to Amnesty International, paramilitary groups killed the government's critics in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, and arbitrary detentions are widespread in Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Nicaragua. If you're wondering how that's just like no cash bail, it's not.
Take the LGBTQ plus community as an example. Yes, there are still problems here. Nobody denies that. But compared to much of the world, America is their safest refuge. In over 60 nations, being gay is against the law. In some, it can even cost you your life. In America, you have pride marches, legal rights, media presence, and the freedom to marry whoever you love. Yet some activists insist they must escape this oppressive nightmare. Escape to where? Europe, where hate crimes against LGBTQ people remain high. Africa, where dozens of nations still ban homosexuality. It's privilege wrapped in illusion.
New Republic just ran a story about the vulnerable minorities who want to flee America, including the author, a gay man trapped in the dystopian homophobic hellscape that is New York City. I wonder if he knows that there are 66 countries where just being gay is a crime. Cute story in the news last month. Burundi's president called on his citizens to stone gay people, and not in the good way. Wow, suddenly the don't say gay law doesn't sound all that bad.
And this is the core of Maher's takedown. America has problems. Yes, we're 54th in infant survival, 19th in reading, and 72nd in women's political power. The list doesn't end there. But the answer isn't crying on Twitter, promising to leave, or staging big protests that block roads. The answer is effort. Real, tough, thankless effort. Rolling up your sleeves and repairing what's broken instead of throwing fits every time an election goes against you. Because here's the hard truth. Real patriotism isn't about waving a flag when your side wins and booking a ticket when your side loses. Real patriotism is staying when times get rough. It's about wanting to repair America, not run from it.
Confused by this political message. Vote for me because I hate it here. Now, does America have big problems? Yes, I've often cited the America Sucks list. Things like being 54th in the world in infant mortality behind Cuba, 19th in literacy behind Russia, 72nd in female representation in government behind Iraq. A lot of work to do here. And is it possible for a country to lose itself so much that leaving it is justified? Yes, but we're not there yet, not by a long shot, and we don't need quitters. We need people who will stay and fix it.
And let's be completely honest. Most celebrities wouldn't survive 5 minutes in the real struggles normal Americans face. They don't know what it feels like to lose sleep over a mortgage, to stretch a paycheck until month's end, or to fear medical bills sinking your family. Their version of hardship is choosing between flying private or first class. That's why their political speeches sound so empty. They live in a bubble cut off from reality. Yet they still feel entitled to tell the rest of us how we should live. Sorry, but no thanks. The double standard doesn't stop there. These same stars who slam America for being terrible are also the ones demanding we open the borders to immigrants. Hold on. If America is truly so awful, why invite more people here? Why urge others to come suffer in this supposedly cruel nation?
I don't get it. You want so badly for every immigrant to come to this country and experience the good life, but somehow it's so terrible you want to leave? And I see conservatives in Texas are talking secession again. They have 2 bumper stickers in that state. America, love it or leave it, and we're leaving it.
The contradiction couldn't be clearer. If America truly is the nightmare they describe, wouldn't the moral thing be to warn people away, not invite them in? It makes no sense unless you see it's never been about principle. It's about image. It's about attention. It's about clout. And that's why Maher's takedown struck a chord, because he cut through the drama and showed the truth. These celebrity protest lines are nothing but virtue signaling. They want cheers, not responsibility. They want to look bold without giving up anything real. But here's what always stands out. Despite all the whining, the TikToks, the award speeches, and the public